Welcome to the Create Your Happy podcast, where the mission is to empower women in their journey of self-discovery. Here we explore how to fully embrace our humanness, find our unique voice, and understand that through unconditional love and conscious relationships, we have the power to change the world. I'm your host, Christy Holt, your one and only happiness hussy, adventure guide, and conscious funpreneur. I'm on a heartfelt mission to change the world one beautiful soul at a time. Are you ready to elevate your relationships to the next level? I've got you. It's time for a messy fucking beautiful adventure. It's time to create your happy. Hello, gorgeous humans, and welcome back to another episode of Create Your Happy. This season, we've been talking about all things relationship. And as you know, Create Your Happy has always been about how to live, love, and grow authentically. I'm your host, Christy Holt, and I am so grateful to be able to walk with you through the twists and turns of this messy fucking beautiful journey called life. Today, I will be unpacking a topic that hits close to home for many of us, and this is the idea of self-sabotage and how it can weasel its way into our relationships, often without us even noticing. From the blame game that keeps us stuck in the cycle of conflict to the ways in which our past traumas shape our present love stories, we are going to explore just how to break free from these patterns so that not only can we get unstuck, but so that we can also cultivate relationships that are rooted in understanding, growth, and genuine connection. Relationships that make us truly fucking happy. Self-sabotage, despite what you may believe, is not actually something that we're doing to ourselves. You're not setting out to mess things up. You're certainly not holding the intention to get in your own damn way. And that's actually because the root of the whole idea of self-sabotage isn't actually about sabotage at all. It's actually the mind's misguided attempt at keeping us safe. It's all about keeping us safe. Now, not in what's actually safe, but in what's familiar. It whispers these tales of caution into our mind, convincing us that failure is actually worse than not even trying. It reminds us that the devil that we know is safer than the one that we don't. And it attempts to protect us from all of that uncertainty and potential of the failure, that it actually cock-blocks us from taking the action we intend to take. Unfortunately, when we are under the spell of this whole narrative, we lose sight of our true potential. And breaking free from self-sabotage actually requires recognition of these patterns for what they are. And what they are old defense mechanisms. So it's about gently reminding ourselves, I am safe to pursue my dreams. I am worthy of success. I can do hard things. And growth is uncomfortable. And that's okay because I can handle it. Self-sabotage when it comes to relationships might look like pushing a partner away before they can get too close, fearing that intimacy might lead to vulnerability and ultimately hurt. It might also look like creating conflict in the face of fear of losing your partner, which doesn't really make any sense at all, does it? So overcoming this means leaning into trust and slowly allowing yourself to believe in the safety of being loved, and to believe in the strength that can be found in vulnerability. It also means taking a look at your own stuff, your own triggers, your beliefs, your mindsets, your patterns, and your habits to see where this fear is driving your actions and where this self-preservation mode is being activated in order to keep you safe in the familiar and known, rather than allowing you to expand into new and exciting opportunities and experiences. Blame is merely a distraction, and in fact, it is a fabrication of our mind. It keeps our attention off of our own internal issues, the ones that we can actually change, onto external scapegoats, which we all know that trying to affect is entirely fruitless. It's so much fucking easier to point our fingers outward than to face what's been playing on inside of us. And I know this one firsthand. I did this for years in my marriage. And I'll tell you what, all those years of blaming and finding fault in everyone and everything but myself kept me fucking stuck. The truth is, every time that we place blame, we give away a piece of our power. Reclaiming that power starts with turning that spotlight inward and asking ourselves, what role did I play in this? Now, this is not about self-blame, but rather it's about self-awareness and growth and taking radical responsibility for the one thing that we can change. You know it, and that's ourselves. In relationship, blame often serves as a barrier to intimacy, creating distance rather than connection and understanding. And when we can shift from blaming our partner to exploring our own contributions to these conflicts or problems, we actually can open the door to deeper connection and mutual growth. It's about shifting from asking who's at fault to how can we grow from this together? And while this does require vulnerability and therefore a great deal of courage, it's the only way to escape the trap of blame in our relationships. It's the only way that we can actually affect change in our relationships. This is us in our power rather than in avoidance. Past traumas can also dictate how we show up in relationships, and this often happens in ways that we don't consciously realize. True processing of trauma involves recognizing these patterns and actively choosing to respond differently. This journey not only transforms us, but it also has a huge impact on our relationships. And as we learn how to consciously interact from a place of wholeness, rather than reacting unconsciously or subconsciously from our past hurts, we find freedom. Our past traumas are not just simply memories. They are experiences, emotions, and identities that were imprinted on our psyche. And they can have a huge influence on our reactions and decisions in the present time. Now, we all know how reacting from our past hurts can turn a present moment of even mild stress, or potentially not even stressful at all, into a replay of past pain, which ends up blurring the lines between then and now. Finding freedom begins with acknowledging these past hurts, understanding their origins, and learning new, healthier ways to respond. It means allowing ourselves the space to feel what we would have felt, that we may have stuffed down, and processing, moving through the pain in order to come out the other side. It's a journey of transforming our trauma into wisdom. Now, it's important to note here that many of these reactions and beliefs stem from early childhood experiences. These patterns are deeply ingrained, often operating on autopilot, as many of them happened before we could even cognitively recognize what we were actually learning. Recognizing and understanding these patterns is the first step toward rewriting the rest of our story. It's about giving ourselves the compassion and patience that we needed back then as a small child who likely felt helpless or alone, and giving them that patience, that compassion that they needed in the now moment. It's about recognizing that the ways that we may have coped in the past may well have served us in some capacity. They were the very best that we could do with the resources and understanding that we had at the time. But now that we have a new, different awareness, more understanding, and greater access to new resources, we can begin to respond with more intention and responding in ways that truly serve us best now. Are you ready to break free from self-doubt and embrace a life of empowerment? Introducing the Unstuck for Women Daily Self-Discovery Journal, the ultimate companion to my international best-selling book, Unstuck for Women. This beautifully designed journal will take you on a transformative 90-day journey of gratitude, self-discovery, and personal growth. Each day, you'll dive deep into powerful insights, prompts, and exercises that build confidence and self-love. Align your actions with your desired feeling state and watch as your life transforms. This journal is your key to unlocking the extraordinary woman within you. So get ready to embark on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth like never before. You can order your copy of the Unstuck for Women Daily Self-Discovery Journal today. Unleash your limitless potential. Our early experiences shape not only our expectations, but our own behaviors when it comes to relationships. So understanding these key influences can truly illuminate just why we act and react in certain ways. And when we start to begin to see and we have this new awareness, this offers us an opportunity to find true freedom and peace. As I say, rewriting our love stories. It's about breaking the cycles and patterns and building the love that we know that we truly deserve. It's about giving ourselves the love and compassion that we need most and creating a safe space for ourselves to move forward from. Now, many of us have had past experiences that have led to us feeling less than safe. We can actually end up carrying a lot of that fear in our body. Now, oftentimes we can experience this feeling of not safe even when there is no immediate threat. This is how powerful our mind-body connection is. And many of us really truly did not have access to good models or examples or others to teach us how to create this safety. This is no one's fault, but it is the reality of what we're starting with. I can safely assure you that waiting for someone else to fulfill your needs is going to be like waiting for a train at an abandoned station. The power to fulfill our own needs lies within us, and it is through self-discovery, self-acceptance, and the pursuit of passions that light us the fuck up that we create it. Now, expecting a partner, or anyone else for that matter, to fulfill all of your needs places a truly unfair burden on the relationship and on that other person. They simply cannot and therefore will not be able to do that for you. And if you continue to expect them to, you will certainly be disappointed. Ask me how I know. Okay, I'll tell you. I literally waited for years for this to happen. Years of disappointment, resentment, and frustration before realizing that I was sick and fucking tired of waiting for someone else to come and save me. And in the end, I saved my own damn self. And when I did so, I realized that had been the only way to make it happen all along. The rest had been merely an illusion and a distraction. So by learning to satisfy first your own needs, you'll be able to bring a more whole and content self into your relationship, which will only serve to enrich it. This self-reliance, actually, that you can build within yourself fosters a healthier, more balanced relationship dynamic, which releases you from the cycle of unmet expectation, this disappointment, resentment, frustration that is absolutely sure to continue just as long as you're expecting someone else to meet all of your needs. So creating your own safety is about building yourself a fortress of well-being. It is about recognizing that you are the architect. You are the one. You are the one who can create your own peace, and you can create it through boundaries, self-care, and positive self-talk. This fortress will protect you, not from the world, because life is going to continue to life around you, but it will protect you from the most damaging storms, and these are the ones that happen within. What it will do is offer you a sanctuary where growth and healing can truly flourish, where you can thrive in the face of adversity because you are finally operating from a place of power. Now, building this sense of safety within ourselves enables us to engage in relationships without the fear of losing our own identity and without compromising our own well-being. This is so crucial. It's truly about knowing that you are whole, all on your own, and that your partner complements rather than completes you. And as a couple of epic side benefits, this internal safety actually results in deeper connection, healthier communication dynamics, and both mutual and individual growth. Like, talk about a win-win-win. Now, the line between self-care and selfishness is one that is often blurred by guilt and by a bunch of societal expectations. But true self-care is actually the flip side of selfishness. It's the acknowledgement that you simply can't pour from an empty cup. And when we abandon our own needs for the sake of others, we're not actually being noble. We're actually neglecting the very essence of our own well-being. Chances are, if we don't make a change, we'll find ourselves in a world of hurt. burnt out, overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, and probably just plain fucking miserable. Balancing self-care with compassion for others is actually about harmonizing your needs with the strong desire that you have to meet the needs of those you love. And in this way, you are able to support everyone's needs simultaneously, rather than requiring extreme sacrifice or constant compromise. In fact, join me for the next episode where I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about why I don't believe in personal sacrifice, not even as a parent. But the bottom line here is that in relationships, this line between caring for oneself and caring for the other can sometimes blur, leading often to self-abandonment under the guise of love. And true self-care in relationships means honoring your needs while also remaining present for your partner, creating a balance, a harmony where both partners feel valued and fulfilled. Now, this week's practical exercise is actually just about taking one small step towards creating safety within. Now, it's quite simple, really, as most things often are. And when you consistently practice this simple exercise, that's when you'll see it won't take long for the results to start building. You'll start to feel a little bit more confidence and start seeing less of these self-preservation or self-sabotage behaviors cropping up. So step one is to simply acknowledge one thing that you need. I mean, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Figure out what it is you really need for your well-being. Okay. Step two is for this need, I want you to devise a plan to fulfill it all on your own. So consider, what action could you take to fulfill this need for yourself? This is your blueprint for self-reliance. Now, if you're feeling a little bit selfish when you're doing this, good, because that discomfort is actually growth in disguise. I mean, lean all the way in, baby, because new things, all new things, tend to create a bit of discomfort, right? But once we practice these things, once the practices become a little bit more familiar, that discomfort will quickly fade away and you will start to see the benefits. So finally, put your plan into action and then observe. How does it feel to take control of your own safety and well-being? How does it feel to take radical responsibility for your own needs and to take the actual action to fulfill them and not sitting around having to wait for anyone or anything else? Seriously, allow that empowered feeling to energize you as you potentially compile a list of more of your needs. Start tackling them one by one and, build a self-driven action plan for having your needs met. For example, if you long for more love or more physical touch, you can look deeply into your own eyes in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. You could give yourself some gentle touch, a hug, or even a foot rub. If you need more rest, you could allow yourself more time to rest. You could give yourself permission to perhaps leave an unnecessary task for another day without shitting on yourself. It's actually really surprising how often we tell ourselves that these are things that we must do and we add them to our to-do list. But the truth is, absolutely nothing will happen if we do not do it. It's simply us telling ourselves that we need to do it. So instead of shitting on yourself, consciously choose some form of rest and simply acknowledge that you can and will get to that task later. Or cross it all the way off your fucking list if you don't actually need to do it, right? But as a self-love bonus, you can also build more self-trust when you actually follow through and do that thing later. So as awkward as some of these things may feel to give yourself first, do it anyways. I promise it will be worth it. There you have it, beautiful soul, a roadmap to navigating self-sabotage, also known as self-preservation. And as we wrap up this conversation today, I hope that you remember that this journey to overcoming self-sabotage is ultimately a journey back to yourself. It is about finding the courage to face your fears, to find true freedom, and to open your heart to the possibility of love that nurtures, supports, and celebrates you for who you truly are. And I invite you to take these insights and transform your relationships. Now, every step forward is actually a step toward the life and relationships that you've always dreamt of and the ones that you absolutely deserve. So until next time, keep embracing that messy fucking beautiful adventure that we call this human existence. I love you all. Now let's go do some epic shit, shall we? Thank you so much for listening to today's show. I trust you were inspired to take back your power and create your happy. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with the women in your life who could use a little more inspiration today. If you'd like to connect or explore the additional resources mentioned in this episode, you can find those details and links in the show notes below. As always, get out there, have fun, be you, and create your happy.